Hello, my lovely twin flames. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to have a look today at how the divine masculine is generally feeling, and then we're going to move straight into messages and see why he wants to send you those messages. So let's get started. Hope you're all doing really, really well. Spirit, we're with the divine masculine energy, please. What are the feelings around him at the moment? Thank you. We have enchanted. It's a delightful word, isn't it? We have embrace uncertainty. We have the past. Let's move these up a bit. We have stay in integrity. I'm just going to take the 4. Oh, they've given me a 5th one. Celebration. So I was going to just take 4, but they've given me 5. Can we see those? We can. I always look at the camera upside down. It looks wonky. Anyway, here we go. On the bottom of the deck, we have process your feelings. So I'm just going to put that to the side, even though that's incredibly important. And we're going to get some messages around these feelings that the divine masculine is having at the moment. Let's have a look at them before we get the messages. Yes, it's the enchanted card, but we have a focus on moonlight here. And I do think that night times, he's finding some sort of peace in his heart. I think it allows him a bit of reflection time. Maybe some of the divine masculines aren't sleeping very well at the moment, and it's during the night times that they're able to just really have clarity of thought. So yes, night times are very significant for him at the moment, because I do feel a peaceful energy coming from that card. So it may be that he's dealing with lots of things during the day, and at night time he can just sit, mull things over in his mind and just think it all through. He's not quite sure what lays ahead. He has his feelings, he has his thoughts, he has his ideas. He knows that he wants to move forward. He knows that he wants to walk a path towards the sunlight. We have the moon as well, but he wants to embrace it. He wants to go for it. But I get a feeling of hesitation from this card. And again, this isn't unusual because we've seen this so many times in the divine masculine readings. It's like he has a plan in his head. He has an idea he wants to carry forward. You know, he wants to be with his divine femme. We've seen that in previous readings, but he's uncertain what lays ahead. If you see between, look how light all this looks, but then there's darkness here before the sunshine. He wants to be brave, Spirit are saying. He wants to take that step forward, but he doesn't know how he's going to be received. And we've seen that again in previous readings, haven't we? He's feeling very melancholic at the moment. Spirit liked that word today. They used it in a previous reading I did today. But he is feeling very melancholic. You know, he's focusing on the past a lot. He's thinking about what might have been. So especially if you've not had contact with your divine masculine for a while, he's maybe, you know, just reflecting on good times that you had in the past and wondering sort of what happened to it all. You know, just trying to, as I said before, mull it all over in his head. He wants to stay true to himself. You know, this card talks about integrity. He wants to make the right move at the right time, they've just said. You know, but also he feels a responsibility to people that he is currently around. So if you have a divine masculine and there's a third party situation going on here, if it's the divine masculine who's with someone else, then, you know, he feels a responsibility towards them, but at the same time, he's got this dichotomy because he wants to stay true to himself. And he knows that in order to be happy, he wants to move forward and to celebrate with the person he wants to be with, you know? Again, he thinks about this a lot at night time. We have the moon dance. So, you know, it may be that he has responsibilities during the day. It could be a job he feels responsible for. It could be, you know, elderly relatives he feels responsible for. But whatever it is, he wants to be true to himself. But equally, he feels a responsibility towards others who are around him. But ultimately, he knows where he wants to be. Let's see what he's saying. I'm going to use the Twin Flame dialogue cards. Bear with me. Apologies, I'm just going to go back because we had process your feelings on the bottom of the deck. And I think he's doing a lot of processing of his feelings at the moment. We've already covered it with the moon card here, the enchanted card here, you know. I think he goes off on a bit of a flight of fantasy at night time as well. I think, you know, that's why we've got this air of enchantment. You know, he visualizes how he'd like his life to be. But he's very much processing how he feels about things. And this is an ongoing situation that we've seen over a lot of readings. I'm just going to put that there. I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't. But we're going to put that there. I'll come back to it in a minute when we pull some more cards. So let's get some messages. What does the Divine Masculine want to say to the Divine Feminine? Thank you. So there's a part of him that feels that he can't offer you anything more right now. And that is, as I said, because he feels he has some responsibilities wherever he is and whatever he's doing at the moment. You know, it could be that he's got a really good job and the thought of having to leave a really good job to be able to be with you could be really difficult for him, you know. It may be that he's been struggling financially and therefore feels that he hasn't got anything that he can literally offer you right now. Because do you remember, for those of you who've watched my readings before, we've seen this Divine Masculine in the past feeling that he's ready to step forward, but he doesn't feel he's good enough. And therefore, he's trying to build up his financial material wealth in order to have something concrete to offer. So he's coming at it from a practical point of view rather than emotional, because he finds that easier. So, you know, him saying he can't offer you anything more right now, I do think it's to do with responsibilities. He feels he's got current responsibilities. But it may be that he's stretching himself to try and, in his own mind, have more to offer you. You know, in practical terms. He works in mysterious ways. He wants to take that walk forward to embrace whatever it is that lies ahead, but he doesn't feel able to do that right now, which is why you're probably still at a distance from each other. It's not that he doesn't want to. We have the word can't on these cards. I can't offer you anything more right now. It feels like he's tethered or stuck at this moment in time. I can't do this right now. It's almost like he feels like he's being prevented. Not that he hasn't got his own mind, but I think this one, he's not saying I won't do it. He's not saying I don't want to do it. He's saying I just can't at the moment. I can't deal with this while I'm dealing with that, you know? It's almost like he's got a lot on his plate at the moment. I'm avoiding my feelings because it just seems easier. As we say, he's in the process of processing his feelings, as we've just seen. But you know, when you're processing feelings, it brings up a lot of things that are uncomfortable, doesn't it? So there's an element of him burying his head in the sand right at this moment. He thinks about you all the time. He dreams about you at night time. He dreams of having that celebration, but it's almost like it's a film playing in his head. Because, you know, right in the middle of his reading, we have the past. So that's where his heart is anchored at the moment, in the past. But when he thinks about the past, it probably brings up some uncomfortable feelings for him. So he's choosing to ignore his feelings and to avoid them. What else, Spirit? Yeah, you see, he has a very low, there's issues around his low self-esteem here, you know, his feelings of worth, because he's saying, I'm trying to be someone you can trust. That's why it's important to him that he stays honest with himself and stays in integrity, because he wants to present the very best of himself to you, because he simply, you know, has problems with his self-worth, and he doesn't see himself as you see him. So, you know, he wants to be the absolute best before he bravely walks up this path. And that's how he's sort of dealing with it himself. He wants you to know that he can feel you too. He dreams about being together. He dreams about those special moments. You know, he may be hearing your special song, you know. He wants you to know that he can feel you. But it kind of feels like he's tying himself up in knots a bit, you know, because he just is questioning this self-worth. On the bottom of the deck, we have, I want to return to you. He's very clear about what he wants. Does that fit in? Yes. He's very clear about what he wants. But what do we have about processing feelings? What's he telling us about that, please? What does the Divine Masculine want to say about processing his feelings? I'm sorry for the way I treated you. I was acting from old patterns. Now, this is what I was saying earlier. When you process feelings, it brings up uncomfortable memories and uncomfortable, you feel the feelings all over again, don't you? So, you know, while he's reflecting on what happened in the past, he's thinking about the old patterns that he repeated, and he feels ashamed of the way that he treated you. He's very sad about that. He has regrets. So, you know, that makes it, again, more difficult for him to move forward at this moment in time, because he's still working on this issue of his own self-worth. Because, again, at the bottom of the deck, he's feeling overwhelmed. So I just think he's got a lot on at the moment. It feels heavy. It feels, I don't mean emotionally heavy, but it kind of feels like busy heavy. You know, like there's too many thoughts whizzing around, like he's overthinking far too much, you know. And he is feeling overwhelmed. So how are we going to move this forward, Spirit? Let's see. How is he going to move things forward? Oh gosh, I'll keep slithering about. How's the Divine Masculine going to move things forward with the Divine Feminine? We had two come up together. We had the Page of Swords and we had the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups talks about a love connection. There's also a decision to be made around love. Twos of talk about decisions. He's monitoring, not monitoring, that sounds really stalky. I don't mean it to sound like that. But he may be looking you up on social media. He may be considering having a conversation with you. He may be considering sending you a message to try and clarify the situation. And that's maybe what he's mulling over in his head at night times. He wants you to know that he has those loving feelings for you. But there's also this thing about he may be spying on you a bit. So he may be checking your profile on social media, or asking friends about you, something of that type. He may be reading old messages that you've sent him. You are his wish fulfillment. And, you know, he's made it clear that he wants to return to you. So what is he physically going to do, Spirit? He may send a message, we see there, but he's thinking about sending it. It doesn't show that he's actually going to do it at this moment in time. I don't know which one it was, Spirit, so I didn't take them, sorry. He knows he's got to put the work in, and he's going to put the work in. We're asking what is going to happen. He knows you're his wish fulfillment. He wants to put the work in. But he's looking at it in so much detail that there is this overthinking vibe going on. And here, this is no surprise seeing the King of Pentacles, because this is what I was saying earlier. His self-worth is at a low, especially where you're concerned, Divine Feminine. And so he wants to present as the King of Pentacles when he eventually sets forward. Sets forward? Why am I saying sets forward? That doesn't seem... Anyway, when he eventually comes forward, he wants to present as the King of Pentacles. He wants you to, in his own head, he has this fantasy. Excuse me. He has this fantasy where, you know, you're going to see him as an affluent man who can sort out all your problems. And, you know, this is a fantasy he's got. He wants to come in, present as just somebody who's achieved a lot in their lives, because he feels that's the only way that you will accept him. So I'm not at all surprised to see the King of Pentacles there. He doesn't realise, or at least he hasn't put the pieces together, that he's already your Emperor. We have the King of Cups. He feels very protective towards you. You know, he wants to come in, take care of you. He wants to protect you. This is his intention, okay? Because we're asking Spirit, what is he going to do? He's going to concentrate on building his wealth so that he can take care of you. He's going to put the work in that it takes in order to do that. Then he thinks that things will turn in his favour. It will give him this strength. We see the lion's head here. It's almost like, you know, as I say, he feels that he needs to have achieved those things for you to accept him and for luck to be on his side as he sees it. Okay, well, we have to go with what we're given here. It is positive in as much as he's still thinking the same thing, but we need him to take action. We haven't got any Wands cards out here at all. He's in his headspace because he's in Pentacles energy. He's in Swords energy here. But you're still his wish fulfillment. What we need is some action. He's giving himself a hard time, to be honest. He's making life harder for himself because, you know, he feels that he has to be, you know, almost godly in terms of what he can provide, when in actual fact well, I don't know. He needs to concentrate on that growth for himself, you know, because there's obviously, in doing that, there's obviously lessons that he needs to learn before he can come into union. We must remember that this is a divine relationship. So I'm just going to finish on some Moonology. I'm going to keep it quite short today. Let's pull some Moonology. Attend to the details. And we have him doing that. Where is it? Over here with the Pentacles. You know, he's willing to put the work in, but he's looking at everything in such fine detail that he's putting himself under a lot of pressure, basically. Spirit are saying make time for self-love. I mean, in this, you know, Spirit are also saying that, you know, there may be some details, Divine Feminine, that you need to attend to also in your own life in terms of your own development. They want you to concentrate on your self-love, because remember, in a twin flame relationship, you are spiritually connected to such a degree that you feel each other's emotions. So, especially if you have empathic traits. So it's important that you love yourself, because that will help him build his self-worth also. They're asking you to be thankful for what you do have in your life, because while if you're into manifesting, you'll know this already. If you focus on the things that are missing in your life, then you will get more things that are missing, and it will be missing for longer. If you're grateful for the things you have in your life, and you're grateful that this person has touched your life, then it draws them to you. And that's what you do. You release your blocks. So, you know, I think the thing to focus on for you at the moment, Divine Femme, is sitting in positive energy, practicing gratitude for having this connection, even though I know it's hard. I really do know it, trust me. But, you know, by practicing gratitude, it helps to release any blocks. Let me just shuffle that again, because that didn't feel right. And they're saying be real, you know. If you have times where you're feeling upset, then be upset. If you feel times where you want to be kind to yourself, be kind to yourself, because you should always be kind to yourself. You know, just be who you are, because the essence of you is who he fell in love with, you know. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to. Quite an interesting reading today, a bit mixed, but he still has the same intentions. He's just learning whatever lessons he needs to learn, and I think that's what we need to sort of remember from this reading, really. I'm going to leave it there. Take care, everybody, and I will catch up with you again really, really soon. Bye for now.